The movie begins with a Darwinian quote telling us that the species most likely to survive is the one that adapts best to change. Then we see a boat full of people. The main character, Sophia, is being recorded as she speaks. She says the area they occupy is a mass of garbage over 3 million kilometers in size. Since this is a French film, she says that is 4 to 6 times bigger than France. Almost 1 million animals perish each year due to swallowing plastic. For the last 3 years, her team has been tagging different species of sharks. Suddenly, this recording gets interrupted because they get a signal. Sophia rushes to her computer and several team members dive into the water. She sees on her laptop what they see underwater. Soon they locate a whale caught in a net. Sophia says it's the second one in 3 weeks. One of the divers guesses it must have been suffering like this for days. Sophia sees a huge bite mark on it. Out of nowhere, a shark swims past one of the divers, scaring him. A lot of sharks gather in this area, and Sophia experiences glitches on her computer. In a short time, a massive shark appears that Sophia calls Lilith. She thinks her size is impossible, for she was merely 2.5 meters long 3 months ago. Now Lilith seems to be over 5 meters long. This does not make sense to Sophia. One of the swimmers approaches the huge shark and stabs her to collect a sample. The shark instantly swims away, but quickly returns for revenge. She takes her stabber away. Once Lilith starts to attack the others, Sophia rushes out of the room to jump into the water. She finds a severed arm floating in there with a ring on its finger. Lilith swims nearby, prompting Sophia to shoot her with a gun. This causes the shark to swim past her, catching Sophia with a net on Lilith's tail. The lady starts to get dragged into the ocean's depths with serious speed. Thankfully, she manages to cut the net with a knife before she swims up to emerge from the water. 3 years later, 2 guys are fishing for junk near a bridge. One of them pulls out a scooter and the other struggles to take out what he caught. It feels very heavy. When he pulls it out, it is a bombshell. The next scene has the police in this area. We focus on one of them talking to a reporter, saying they find these bombshells all the time in the Seine. They fished out about 100 of them. He then gets a call, concluding his time with the reporter. He joins his crew on a boat. At a museum, Sophia talks to children. She asks which of them would devote their lives to protecting whales, and several of them raise their hands. That is the question she was asked at the time she signed on to protect the oceans. She emphasizes if the oceans can't survive, neither can people. What makes a living ocean is the diversity in the ecosystem. A child asks if it is too late to save the oceans. Another child interrupts Sophia's answer to ask if it's true that her entire team was eaten by sharks. He dares to laugh asking such a sensitive question. As Sophia is leaving the museum, a woman runs to her. She says she has been following Sophia's work for a long time, but Sophia refuses to interact with her, saying it's a bad time. The woman yells the words, "Beacon 7, and gets Sophia's attention. The woman says she knows where it is. Afterward, they walk together in a building. The woman is Mika, who says she is part of an organization called Save Our Seas. To protect the sharks, she says they have been connecting to their beacons. They enter a room that has a huge screen showing sharks. The place seems like a serious establishment with many workers. Mika comes to a certain worker, who tells Mika she spotted a trawler somewhere, and she's going to get him out. This lady is Ben, getting told by Mika to show Beacon 7 to Sophia. Thus she shows something on a map, making Sophia say it's impossible. Mika says Lilith has been in the heart of Paris for 3 days. She also says they can communicate with her. This sounds insane to Sophia because Lilith is a shark, not a dog. Mika wants Sophia to dive with them to prove the latter wrong. Since this sounds like nonsense to Sophia, she starts to walk away. Mike tries to get her to stop by saying there was an accident last night. A car went off the bridge, and the driver was not found, yet Sophia still decides to leave. Later, we see her at home, being stressed. She watches a video of her crew from 3 years ago. Those were happier, more optimistic times. She cries watching it. Once it gets to the devastating shark footage, she has to close the laptop. In a few seconds, she opens the map that tracks Lilith. She zooms in on the shark's location to see her moving in the water. What she sees causes her to say it's impossible. At night, Mika and Ben ride the river on their boat. While they park under a bridge, Sophia tries to phone Mika. Alas, she gets to her voicemail, for Mika is busy diving underwater. She finds the crashed car there, which has marks on the driver's door. Seeing a police siren from afar, Ben jerks the rope to get Mika's attention. When she emerges from the water, she is confronted by the police. The officer we saw earlier, Adil, tells her to get out. Soon she is on the boat with them, getting asked why she was diving at night. She was cleaning the river, she says. Moving along, the police bring some clothes to the homeless. One of the homeless says they will be gone tomorrow. Adil tells him the mayor wants the docks cleaned for the triathlon. Switching to Sophia, she walks near the Seine. A little dog is there, barking at something in the water. Sophia's tracking device starts to get more active until it slows down. We see a shark fin emerge away from her. On the next day, Adil is in the river police station with Mika. He asks her again why she was diving. It seems like he didn't buy last night's answer. He asks if her diving had to do with the car accident. She doesn't answer, and he asks, why was she searching the car? Mika finally says, "There is a shark in the river." Adil thinks this is an obnoxious lie. It doesn't take long for another officer to enter the room to tell Adil they have an emergency. The scene shifts to Sophia walking near the Seine. She gets a phone call from someone asking her if she is Sophia. The next thing we see is her walking with an officer. He takes her close to the station, where she is greeted by Adil. Mika is there too, saying she told them to call her. Sophia sees the police are taking photos of someone, and Adil says the person was found this morning. He also says Mika thinks it was done by a shark. We only get glimpses of the mutilation. Sophia guarantees this was done by a shark. Adil is curious why the shark would come to Paris, a question Sophia cannot answer. Later we see the mutilated man on a police monitor. He happens to be the homeless man. The police chief says the man could have been brought to his state by a propeller because it has happened in the past. Opposing her, Sophia says those are bite marks. Mika says they have to get the shark out before she suffocates. Sophia stresses the shark's behavior is not normal. They will require a team of experts to get it out. The chief replies they first have to be sure of the shark's existence. As several officers start to go to their boat to search for the shark, Sophia tells them their endeavor is pointless. By using her tracker, they can locate Lilith's beacon. There is no point in them diving in to risk their lives. It will be even worse if Lilith feels threatened by the team of police. But they don't listen to her, so she joins them on the boat, and they ride on the river. Once they stop at a certain area, Sophia learns the water there is 5 meters deep. She can't believe it due to the shark being massive. It makes her wonder where Lilith is hiding. Adil continues to disbelieve in its existence. Soon several of the police dive into the river, where they search with flashlights. Sophia stays on the boat with Adil. The underwater crew is shocked to see what looks like a deceased marine mammal floating there. Mika is not too far away from the boat. She calls Ben and tells her to disconnect the shark's beacon. Ben complains they won't have a signal from Lilith anymore if she does that. Since Mika keeps pressing her to do it, Ben disconnects the beacon with much hesitation. This results in Sophia losing the signal on her tracker. When Adil pulls his teammates out, one of them says they felt something down there. It was huge. Adil checks the sonar and sees something that looks like it could be a shark. He seems to believe her now that the shark is real. He asks if she did something to the signal, but she says it dropped without her doing anything. As she walks away, she sees Mika, who instantly runs away. Mika enters her organization's building, hearing Ben say that she can't believe she listened to Mika. At that moment, Sophia barges in, asking Mika what she was thinking. Mika says Lilith would not have attacked. A statement Sophia contradicts by pointing out that Lilith did 3 years ago. Mika replies that Sophia wasn't supposed to be there, and it was her fault. This prompts Sophia to leave. At the police station, Adil tells the chief they have to shut the locks if they want to catch the shark. She reminds him the triathlon is in 1 week. She doesn't want to call the mayor to cancel everything. Instead, she decides to double their staff. Later, he searches for Sophia on the internet. It brings him to an article about how a group of scientists lost their lives to a shark. He does not know what to currently make of this information. He looks at a photo of him being in the military with his crew. The man has to flip it down not to look at it. In the next scene, Mika launches a video that shows the horrors of marine life getting destroyed. She also gives a speech on it, saying they are about to lose everything. Their ancestors have doomed them all. Her organization believes that an animal's life is similar in worth to a human's. An immense amount of sharks are destroyed each year for trivial purposes. We see how many different people are viewing this video in this city. Mika says Lilith got lost in the Seine, and she needs the people's help to save her. She tells her viewers they are the only ones left who can change the situation. It starts with them saving Lilith. Mika gets emotional in saying if they save her, they save the future. The last person we see watching this video is Sophia. At another time, Adil meets her. He says he wants to apologize because he didn't know about her team from 3 years ago. They have a meeting with the mayor today, and he wants her to come with them. At the meeting, the police chief informs the mayor about the shark in the Seine. Thus, the mayor brings them to a sizable model of Paris in her office. She shows them everything they put together for the triathlon. Sophia tells her the shark is experiencing huge behavioral shifts. She stresses that if they do nothing, it will get worse. Yet the mayor cannot be reasoned with. She says an enormous amount of money has already been spent to ensure this event's success. She expects them to deal with the shark. As they leave the mayor's building, the chief tells Sophia to get her a list of all the equipment they will need to catch the shark. Sophia says they need to lure Lilith, since they can't track her. When they are at the police station, Ben enters the scene and says she has to talk to Sophia urgently. Lilith is in the catacombs, she says. Although she cares about Mika, she thinks she is out of control. That is why she came alone to share this. Mika hopes to guide Lilith into the ocean by using sonar. Ben found a way to reactivate the beacon. That is how she found Lilith. She shows the shark's location on her laptop. Once Adil says it's impossible to enter the water reservoirs from the Seine, Ben shows him how it can be done. Meanwhile, the team of police is driving their boat until they park it in a narrow tunnel. Switching to Mika, she is in an area close by with many of the people who have gathered to help her cause. Ben puts a spherical device in the water that should attract Lilith. We see the police walking toward this group, and Adil radios for backup. Soon he makes their presence known. He commands Mika to get out of the water. Seeing Sophia, she says they can help Lilith back to the ocean. Suddenly, the massive shark appears due to its fin being visible. There is a smaller fin beside it, which prompts Sophia to think Lilith had a baby. Mika starts to touch the baby, and Sophia urges her not to because Lilith will feel threatened. She wants Mika to get out of the water. Mika tells her to wake up, for she thinks these sharks don't hurt anyone. Now Adil yells for the activist to get out of the water. Being a hero, he dives in to try to save her. When he grabs her, she manages to break free. However, what catches her are the massive jaws of the shark as it jumps out of the water to take her life. An immense amount of water splashes on everyone from the shark falling back in the water. Panic ensues and several people fall in the water in their attempt to flee. Ben falls into the water too. She struggles to escape but loses consciousness due to all the chaos. People start going through the narrow tunnel. Adil tries to deal with the situation, so he fires into the water. Sadly, one of his teammates loses his life. The next scene has Sophia in the hospital. It is a hectic moment with everyone dealing with the aftermath of the attack. Adil joins a devastated Sophia on a bench. She tells him it was her fault. She was supposed to protect them. Taking her hand, Adil replies, "It's not her fault." Following this, they return to the area of the shark attack. Adil's team wants him to see the baby shark is floating deceased. His gunfire must have taken its life. Later, Sophia is doing research on the shark in a lab. She inspects the shark and says it adapted to fresh water. Adil is curious why the sharks are in Paris. Sophia guesses that as they were swimming in the Seine, they must have found a perfect place to breed. They felt they would be safe in the catacombs. Once she cuts the shark's stomach, many baby sharks pour out of it. Sophia is taken aback by the shark's pregnancy. She says it hasn't reached maturity. She looks at its teeth and determines the shark is only 2 months old. This makes her conclude the shark is reproducing by parthenogenesis, meaning the shark doesn't need a male to get pregnant. Lilith is the first of a new species, Sophia says. If they do nothing, the sharks will never stop reproducing. In the mayor's office, the mayor states 12 people have perished from the shark attack. Adil tells her that by the time they arrived in the area, it was too late. A military official there scolds Adil about the operation being beyond his capabilities. The mayor also tells the chief off for not dealing with the shark. She asks if the chief can imagine how much trouble she will face tomorrow at the triathlon. She won't know what to say on the news. Sophia is there to say that the mayor should simply tell the truth, that there is a shark in the Seine. She gets vocal, telling the mayor that hundreds of people could perish instead of a mere dozen. All the mayor has to do is cancel the triathlon. It's not a complicated move, Sophia declares. Hearing such talk from someone she must consider a nobody, the mayor orders Sophia to leave her office. She also tells the chief that, from now the army is responsible for security. Alone with the military official, she orders him to silence the situation instantly for the public not to be alarmed. At a different time, we see her on the news and the interviewer asks her what she thinks of the claims about there being a shark in the Seine. She starts by saying if it were true, she would be thrilled. On a more serious note, she says, it would mean they were successfully able to remove the pollution in the river. This news station is being played on a TV in a bar that the police crew occupies. Sophia tells Adil that if Lilith uses the Seine with her pack tomorrow to get back to the ocean, it will be a disaster. She says they have to do something, but Adil says this situation is out of their hands. Changing the topic, she asks him why he left the army. He takes a moment to answer that it's because he was scared. They were supposed to free some journalists who were trapped somewhere, and Adil was scared of losing his life. Thus he abandoned his teammates. Although they both were there, when he managed to free the hostages, many perished. He asks Sophia if she has a plan, to which she nods. Subsequently, Adil talks to his crew, saying he would like a few volunteers. Most of them agree to it. Then they go over the detailed plan of what they will do about the sharks. The main part involves them placing explosives in the crypt. They will have less than 3 minutes for them to explode. The scene switches to the team being in the catacombs. They start swimming to execute the plan they discussed. In the meantime, we observe the military securing the Seine. 2 officers try to move along the river, but the military orders them to turn around. One of the officers radios the chief to inform her about this. As the triathlon starts, the mayor makes her presence. The chief is nearby, radioing the military man to instruct him her officers need to pass to handle an emergency, so the man allows the officers to pass. Shifting to the underwater crew, they have arrived at the crypt. They light flares and see many sharks swimming above. Once the mayor fires the gun, the swimmers of the triathlon start to swim. Sophia thinks something is wrong, for she does not see Lilith. After the explosives get placed, Lilith appears to attack one of the team members. Other sharks join to devour him, causing his detonator to sink to the ground. The 3 members stay together, getting frightened by the sharks that swim nearby. One of them goes to collect the detonator, and as he activates it, the sharks attack him. The survivors swim out of there in time for the bombs to explode. The 2 officers on the boat above see the explosion. Seeing the survivors, they help them get on the boat. However, Sophia decides to submerge again for a reason not understood by the others. She sees a lot of rubble on the ground, and Lilith emerges from it. The shark stays with our heroine for a short time, until the former swims away. While Sophia swims toward the crew, Lilith suddenly emerges with ferocious speed under the boat to have it fly a respectable distance into the air. All the team members now join Sophia in the hostile water, where Lilith wastes no time consuming 2 of them. Luckily, Adele and Sophia find refuge on the flipped boat. The monstrous shark leaves them alone due to having much more to feast on. The triathlon swimmers. Therefore, the duo swims after it. Soon we see the swimmers start to get taken one by one, unbeknownst to the others. It doesn't take long for a woman to witness it. She blows her whistle and yells, "There is a shark." This prompts the swimmers to stop. Lilith gives a spectacle to all the viewers by jumping out of the water to swallow another swimmer. It's far more interesting than the triathlon. Then 2 military boats arrive to open fire into the water as they circle the area in unison. The chief of police instructs them to stop shooting because there are bombshells in the river. Yet the military personnel don't listen. Our attention is brought to one bombshell getting hit and detonating near the boats. This leads to a chain reaction of more shells exploding, destroying the bridge above them. The bridge adjacent to it is next to get destroyed. Of course, panic ensues among the people, making them run. With all the chaos that has happened, Lilith is still alive, escaping all the gunfire with proficiency. The resulting flood heads for everyone, and the mayor gets swallowed by it. Sophia swims to an unconscious Adele, who floats on the water. When she gets them to a safe surface, he asks her if it's over. Instead of him getting the answer, "We do." The view zooms away from them to show us many shark fins close by. Following this, we see the flooded state of Paris. What happens to the survivors is left for us to imagine.